It was a good performance from Real Madrid. I think they needed a performance like this, a win like this, because they've sort of flattered to deceive, haven't they, in recent performances? There was a lot of pressure on Jabi Alonzo. They were grinding out the results. I think it was all about just getting 3 points in those performances. I think this was about getting a big win against a good team.
I think the most important thing for Jabi Alonzo was picking up 3 points, and it didn't matter how you got those 3 points. Getting 3 points was so important. Obviously, continue that chase at the top of the table, and also for Jabi Alonzo to take the pressure off his seat, because his seat is now less hot after that performance. I mean, an individual performance from a youngster always helps when you give an opportunity to the youngster to really step up and be the difference maker, to be the one who's in the headlines the next day. That's sometimes rare in Spanish football, and of course, when you look at Real Madrid, it's even more so rare because it's so difficult to get into that team. But Jabi Alonzo needed someone to step up, and he got that from Gonzalo Garcia, which is excellent. But Real Betis didn't just go there to do nothing. They took 13 shots in this game. They should have scored more than the 1 goal that they had, and actually in the closing stages, when it was 3-1, it could have been 3-2 or 3-3 had Anthony decided to pass the ball. But listen, Real Madrid were on a different level. They dominated in possession of the ball with 61% and absolutely created better opportunities. Therefore, the better team won on the day. But I think at the end of the day, all the headlines will be about the kid.
Yeah, let's hear from Jabi Alonzo on a special afternoon for his young star.
Evidentemente, Gonzalo ha sido un partido soñado para él, ¿no? El jugar en el Bernabeu, primera temporada del primer equipo y conseguir un hat-trick. Estaba con ganas de marcar en el estadio y me alegro mucho por él, por el trabajo que hace diario, cuando le toca jugar, cuando no le toca jugar, siempre tiene una actitud impresionante. Es un gran ejemplo de lo que es el canterano del Real Madrid y los jugadores que se merecen tener esa oportunidad. Y nada, le felicito mucho por el partido que ha hecho, por el hat-trick, y le animo a seguir así.
And it was obviously a huge opportunity for Gonzalo Garcia today to lead the line at the age of just 21 at the Bernabeu for Real Madrid, with Kylian Mbappe not available due to injury. But it's one thing having an opportunity, the other thing is being able to take it, and boy did he do that.
You know, it's not just necessarily the fact that he scored a hat-trick in this game, it's also about the quality of the finishing from this kid. He showed us in the Club World Cup exactly what he could potentially do, scoring 4 goals when Real Madrid needed somebody to step up. Jabi Alonzo needed someone to step up and basically make it competitive up top for Real Madrid. But listen, scoring a hat-trick is quite incredible. I mentioned already, at 21 years old, it is really special to see someone like him of his ability, first and foremost, get his opportunity at a club like Real Madrid at that age, but to be able to score a hat-trick is quite phenomenal. Now, we have seen this kid before play. Obviously, he got the opportunity to play in the Champions League game against Manchester City. Didn't even take a single shot in that game. So for him to score a hat-trick for Real Madrid and to basically prove a point, to have your name in the headlines the next day and even be spoken about that evening when everyone's having that siesta in Madrid, it's going to be his name that's mentioned or on the tip of the tongue of everybody. And actually, if you look at his game style, the game quality, the way he moves, the way he finishes, he reminds me of Higuain. The way he moves, the way he puts himself into goal-scoring positions, the way he celebrates, even the passion that I see from this kid, it reminds me of Gonzalo Higuain. It's just quite incredible. But the goal-scoring is going to be where you're judged when you're a striker for Real Madrid. Of course, you've got Kylian Mbappe banging goals and in that position right now. But if you're going to compensate for Kylian Mbappe, and it's a 21-year-old who's going to get the opportunity to see him score the 300th hat-trick in club history is quite unique and special. And the 82nd different player to score a hat-trick for Real Madrid is absolutely phenomenal. And actually, to watch him walk off the field, normally, and most recently, with Jabi Alonzo on the sidelines, it's been the white handkerchiefs. Every single fan at the Bernabeu stood up and applauded this kid when he walked off.
Well, even if he doesn't score another goal in his Real Madrid career, he will remember this moment for the rest of his life. Kylian Mbappe watching on, clapping the standing ovation from the Real Madrid fans. We've spoken about Real Madrid fans many times on this show. Sometimes they don't always cover themselves in glory with the way that they react to certain situations, but this was a lovely moment from every single fan inside the stadium.
Yeah, but it means a lot to Jabi Alonzo, and you saw the way, and you can see it right there. Look at that. I mean, Jabi Alonzo needed this from an individual to step up and be the difference maker, and I think sometimes you can actually learn a lot from young players who get their opportunity. There's a relationship that starts to build, and that happened in the Club World Cup, which is surprising to me that this kid hasn't been given a better opportunity. In my personal opinion, when you score 4 goals at a Club World Cup and you basically announce yourself to the world and you announce yourself to Jabi Alonzo, hey, I mean business here. I know I'm a young kid, but give me a chance, let me play. Okay, he's had bits and pieces here and there and he got the opportunity to start against Manchester City. That's not enough for a player of this ability. Clearly you can see this kid has got talent. This kid has got something special. Let's find out how good he really is. And when you score a hat-trick, good luck trying to leave that kid on the bench in the next game. I don't care if your name's Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo. It doesn't matter what your name is. The Real Madrid fans want to be entertained. They want to see players who pull on that jersey represent them, connect with them in some way. This is a player who's gone out there and done exactly that and scored a hat-trick. It's history.
You mentioned there that he reminded you of Higuain, the way he plays, and I think that's a great comparison. But also, when you look at the way he's played, I mean, there will be comparisons with Raul, who was a local product, wasn't he? And had such an impact in his first season at the club, 20 matches, 10 goals and 4 assists in all competitions. But you've got to feel that on the training ground, all of that work he's doing and just watching Kylian Mbappe and Rodrigo and Vinny Jr. is going to help this guy develop so quickly.
Yeah, and of late, we haven't seen any players really coming through. I mean, it's obviously great to see what happened in this game in particular. Fran Garcia getting his opportunity to score a goal, and Raul Asensio, another one who came through Castilla to get his opportunity to score a goal. It was a lovely occasion for them. But they do. They want to see one of their own. And they want to see more players being produced through the youth academy, I would only imagine. But I think they want to see that connection. They want to believe that there's someone that they can get behind, similar to what you saw, obviously, with Raul. I mean, to me, he was one of the best players ever to have lived. And we probably should be celebrating him a little bit more for what he did do for that football club. And I actually was lucky enough to watch him in German football for a period of time at Schalke, one of the strangest moves I've ever seen in my life, to go to Schalke. And he was phenomenal even at the grand old age that he was when he went to the Bundesliga. But to see a youngster, one of their own, getting the opportunity and scoring a hat-trick, by the way. Because if you don't take your opportunity very quickly, you find yourself out of the team, right? That's what's happened to him early on in the season. He did it at the Club World Cup, wasn't necessarily taken as seriously as maybe Real Madrid should have done. And Jabi Alonzo needs someone to create a relationship with, right? Because you've got big personalities in that locker room. You've got Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, Valverde, you've got Bellingham. These are all big personalities who can have influence to the media. Now you've got a youngster and you've given him an opportunity. That youngster now is loyal to you. You've got to remember this. He's trying to build relationships in that locker room, and now he's got one on his side. He's given the kid a chance, and the kid's repaid him with an absolute banger of a hat-trick. So well done to them. Well done to Real Madrid. They're making this title race interesting at the top of the table. But Jabi Alonso's seat remains hot for now, and I think it's less hot so because of the kid's hat-trick.
They didn't quite get the A+. I give them an A for the performance today because they didn't keep a clean sheet, and they looked just a touch frail at the back, didn't they?
Yeah, and I think Anthony actually caused him a few problems, and I also think Cucho Hernandez caused a few problems for them along the back line. As in, it was a fun game. I thought Real Betis actually went there to play. They actually didn't go back and just sit and defend for the whole game. They didn't. They actually tried to win possession of the ball, and when they did do, they counter-attacked with a great deal of pace. Cucho Hernandez, again, I go back to, I love watching this kid play. It's great to see him obviously perform in the Bernabeu, his second goal that he's ever scored there. But this Real Madrid lineup is something different, and it's something unique, and it's something special. I mean, Jabi Alonso has a life of luxury being able to lean upon these players. But I still want more from them defensively. Valverde's not a right fullback. Carrera still needs to impress going forward from that left fullback position. I'm going to say this right now. Rudiger's been a bit suspect along that back line. Some of his decision making. I mean, Anthony took a shot in the second half and should have scored, or maybe should have squared it to Cucho. And Rudiger was miles away from it. He just looked like he was off the pace. And then, of course, you've got the youngster alongside him. So room for improvement from Real Madrid, but certainly the kid is the one who's going to steal all the headlines.